Hi everyone, it's Sharon here, and I promised on the March free monthly healing call that if I didn't get to any questions on the call, I would record some answers to your questions and post them on YouTube. So this is what I'm doing. So I've written down all the questions that were in the chat box and from the emails, and I'm just going to answer them now. So Tanya asked the question. How important is it to actually feel the energy versus just imagining the energy going through the body? So this question relates to quantum touch and energy healing. So with healing, the key thing is really about feeling. It's not really about thinking. We do use the mind in its correct usage as a tool of imagination and to bring the feeling up. So we use our mind and visualization to sort of connect to sort of a memory or a feeling or whatever it is, and we bring that feeling up. So the feeling is kind of the key thing with healing, especially with quantum touch. And you can utilize the mind, you can utilize the imagery, but it's really about the feeling, because the feeling is what's attached to the vibration, and it's the vibration that helps with the healing. So, it's a bit like sort of, you can't think yourself happy, you have to feel happy, right? In that same regard, it's really about the feeling. So, it's you don't have to feel every single second of the energy. But it's really about the it doesn't have to be perfect, but it's about the feeling rather than just the thought or the idea. And this is where a lot of people go wrong with manifestation as well. They think they can think things into being, into the quantum field. Thought is part of it, the intention is part of it, but it's really the vibration, and the vibration is usually associated with feeling it rather than thinking it. So hopefully that answers that question there for you, Tanya. The second question that you had was, how much can we influence that energy? So the energy whilst we're healing, how much of that can we influence? Is it only through breathing? The answer is no, it's not only through breathing. Breathing is one way. If you do level 1 quantum touch, we teach you lots and lots of ways to amplify the energy. And so there are lots of ways to amplify energy. Anything that is vibrational will amplify it. Anything that's a good vibe will amplify it. But there are way too many ways. And I would just say, if you haven't done level 1, then that's the best place to start, because really we give you so much in that first course that's pretty much all you'll need. And then after that, you can use your imagination. You can blend a lot of other techniques into quantum touch, which is why I like quantum touch so much. It's when you take energy, so quantum touch energy, and you add anything to it, it accelerates and amplifies it. So you can blend techniques into it as well. So really, when it comes to quantum touch, the sky's the limit. You can do anything with it. So breathing, yeah, of course, that is part of the technique. And there's a lot of traditions that use breath work to raise vibration and to for health as well in the body, and for calming the mind, and lots of, the breath is used for many things. It's the key gateway to our lives, right? Without our breath, we haven't got anything. We're not alive. So breath is important, but there are lots and lots of different ways. Okay, so going on to Ruth's question. Ruth was asking about sciatica, and she says that she's been doing some poses for the last few months to diminish her sciatica pain, and Ruth is asking, can you feel it's emotional? So on the call, sometimes when people ask about a condition they're physically feeling themselves at the time, I tune in a little bit, not a particularly deep tune in, but a little tune in, just to see if I can help and shed some light on that condition. So Ruth is asking about her sciatica. So Ruth, I did do a very mini check-in, and as you asked, and yes, there is an emotional element to it, and I'll talk about that in a bit more detail in a second. And just to say that the feeling tone that came up was a sense of instability. That's the feeling of the emotion, not being on stable ground, having an imbalance. So there might be an area of your life in the last few months where you're not feeling a lot of certainty, and that's feeling destabilizing, and that's being reflected in the body. So that's somewhere maybe for you to look at. But in terms of general conditions and general health, there usually is an emotional element. I would say it's rare, in fact, that there isn't an emotional element. And the reason is simply this. Your body is very, very intelligent. It knows how to heal. It is actually a self-healing body. It's self-healing in its design. If you cut your finger, you don't have to tell your finger what to do. It knows what to do, right? It just goes ahead and does it. The body knows how to heal itself. So that's kind of a key point in quantum touch. The inner healer knows how to heal itself. So if we have a condition or we have an injury, and it doesn't get healed, it doesn't heal itself in a natural amount of time, then the only place that you can go to why that has not healed so quickly is emotion and the mind, effectively. Because although the body is highly intelligent, it is not very powerful. It doesn't have the power to create an illness. It is like, it's the body, if you look at it like this, the body is a gift that was given to us so we can experience life. It's there so we can experience stuff. It's not really a creator of things. It can't create of its own accord. What does it need? It needs the mind, right? So the mind is more powerful than the body. So when the body can't heal itself, it means that something more powerful is kind of working alongside it, and that's the mind. So there usually is an emotional element, especially if you've got a chronic illness, then there will be an emotional part of this. And, you know, we carry around a lot of childhood trauma, and it's unhealed. And most of the time, even if the trigger is in your adult life, in the recent experience, the actual starting core point is often at childhood. So you can go back to the most recent trigger. That gives you a clue what has recently triggered you. But usually, if you actually take it all the way back, you'll find something in childhood too. So that's also something to consider. So energy is very good at working through emotional conditions as well. I'm a great believer in going back and healing the core trauma from childhood as well. And the way we do that, or the way I do it certainly, is that we employ spiritual tools for that. Because if we say that the body is intelligent but doesn't have a lot of power, the mind is more powerful than the body. And if the mind has created the illness, what's more powerful than the mind is spirit. So we use spirit to heal, rather than trying to use the thing that created it, the mind, to heal something. Okay, so moving on to the last two questions are from John. And John asks, is remote healing effective without touching the patient? And the simple answer is absolutely. That's the simple answer. I've always offered distance healing. I do most of my work across distance. I don't touch people physically. And since the coronavirus pandemic, we have been teaching Quantum Touch Level 1 online. And so everybody learns distance healing as a matter of course, because that's the first thing, you know, if we're online and we're going to be healing each other, it's across a distance. So absolutely. And the way I look at it is that we live in a quantum world. I'm energy, you're energy, and everything in between us is energy. So distance doesn't really exist in the quantum field in the same way that we perceive it in kind of old Newtonian physics. So on an energetic level, you don't really have Distance isn't really an issue. It's as if, and when you work with quantum touch, you work as if they were standing in front of you. That you work as if they are here in the room with you. And for all intents purposes, they are. And the person you're working with feels it in exactly the same way too. There's no difference in quality or quantity or anything else. You work exactly the same at a distance as you do with somebody in person. Now, the touching part, so when we first teach quantum touch in person, and even now still, like, most people are just absolutely amazed that healing works across distance. But people are so used to wanting to see something physical for proof. So that's kind of where sort of healing, kind of in the first level of when you first learn healing, you kind of want to touch something, can feel it and notice it, and kind of get that feedback from a physical person right in front of you. But you can do all of that at a distance. We've been teaching quantum touch for online for a year and a half now, and everyone feels the energy. You can feel heat, you can feel cold, you can feel what your body is doing. You feel exactly the same. So yes, the answer is distance healing without the actual touching works exactly the same. And yeah, so that's the great thing about healing in the quantum world. So much more is possible in the quantum and energetic world than it is by the old way of looking at the physical world. Okay, and then the last question from John was, is a healer's power dependent on experience? That's a really good question. And I would say no, it's not, because and especially not so with quantum touch. Now, with other modalities in the way that they teach, so for example, Reiki has certain levels. At the lower levels, or the first couple of levels, you are only given certain symbols. So if you go to somebody who has only learnt Reiki or been attuned to the Reiki energy up until sort of level 1, 2, they won't have access to all of the symbols. In quantum touch, it's not the same. So in quantum touch, you learn everything you need to know in level 1. And it's not dependent on what symbols you know or what level you've got to. We teach you everything you need to know right at the beginning. So from a quantum touch perspective, the person who is the practitioner, or the person who is offering the healing energy, not the healing energy, the inner healer does the healing, the person who is raising their vibration. That vibration is not based on experience. If you've got a high vibration anyway, if you're a happy, lovely, peaceful soul, your vibration is high anyway, and you're amplifying that, you've got a high vibration. So how effective or how powerful it is not dependent on experience. It's more just about what your vibrational capacity is, your vibrational level is, if you like. And whether you're a first-time student, first time you've ever tried quantum touch, or whether or not you have done lots of other modalities in healing, that is kind of irrelevant. It's really just about the vibration that you bring. So, and we teach you how to raise your vibration. We teach you sort of how to sort of amplify that. I have been teaching quantum touch level 1 for quite a long time now, and I'm just in awe of some of the first time people to energy healing. They've never done any energy healing before, and they are astoundingly brilliant at it and very powerful. And I'm always saying to people, well, like, wow, I'm really, really excited about, you becoming a full-time practitioner and you helping people, because their vibration is so strong. The healing energy, you can really feel how strong it is. And they access that. As soon as they're given some instruction, they just access that and off they go. And some people are highly intuitive as well. So it depends what you're kind of after from a healer. So where the experience comes in, is not really about powerfulness, but where the experience does come into play, if you're looking to work with someone who are offering healing, is more about what their life purpose is or soul purpose is as a healer. So whether that's a good fit for what they offer and what you are looking for. So for example, I work with a lot of my clients are healers or helpers or like creative artists who have something to say, have a message through their art. And therefore that's who I attract. Those are the people I'm here to help. I'm here to help more and more people raise their vibration on the planet to be part of the energy shift that's coming. So I usually attract people who are healers and helpers and lovely, beautiful souls. And that's who I help, right? And so after a while of working, so this is where the experience comes in. After a while of working with clients, you start to see patterns. And then you start to recognize that we kind of have a shared commonality in our experiences and who we are and what we're offering and why we want to offer it and what our blockages are and stuff like that. So that experience means that when I meet somebody, I recognize what is needed and what would be most helpful. And that's quite helpful because it just speeds the process up. So in that sense, that's quite good. And then I've developed, processes like the original blueprint process is something I created. The way I work with the vagus nerve is specific to me. I don't know anyone else who does it works with it the way I do. And these are because I've been healing myself and my clients are very much like me, so I help them with the same thing. And so that's where the experience kind of comes in. There are lots of healers who are non-specific. They kind of, you come, you pay the money, they raise your vibration, they give you the energy, the inner healer does the work and off you trot. But that's not who I am, and that's not who I am, what I'm offering as a healer. So therefore, those who come to me, they resonate with you. So you resonate with who you feel can help you, right? So is that but that doesn't mean that somebody who's new is not a powerful healer. They absolutely can be. It depends on what you're looking for as part of your healing journey. What do you actually need? So hopefully that answers your question. It's not dependent, but it may be something that you look for in a healer. I mean, one of the things that I often say is that I do actually believe it's important to be a healed healer, not an unhealed healer. Is that way that when people come to me, they know I've done this own work. I've done my own healing. I've dedicated myself to my own healing as well. So in that sense, I'm experienced in it and I know kind of what it takes and I know how hard it is or I know how easy it is or whatever. And I've developed ways to make it easier for other people too. But in terms of powerfulness, no, it's not dependent on experience at all. Okay, that's all the questions from March's monthly healing call. Thank you everyone for your questions and also your presence on the call on Wednesday. Thank you very much. And I hope to see you all on next month's call. If you've signed up to the newsletter, you will get a reminder on the newsletter and on the day. It's the first Wednesday of every month. It's on Zoom. If you're on the newsletter, you'll be used to all of this information anyway. But yeah, if you have any questions you want to submit before the next call, please do. I'll answer any early advanced questions. I'll answer those first on the call. And again, if there's any excess questions that I don't get to, then I'll do another video of this. Okay, so lovely and sunny. Okay, so thanks everyone.